Today I'd like to present you a short tutorial, continuation of several previous ones. Quite a while ago, when we were just starting our creative attempts, we used to create Easter trees. Now we are continuing this topic, and at the same time we continue the topic of our material flexibility. Just recently we reflected on this subject, woven vases and jewel boxes. This Easter tree is continuation of the topic. The idea is very simple, but I believe it can lend variety to our works devoted to Easter. To avoid overusing your attention, I've done all the preparation beforehand. Let's watch only the most peculiar moments. So, first of all, to start with, we weave a small round tray. Diameter of this tray is 28 centimeters. This one is 26, that one is 29. A small tray, about 10 inches in diameter. The size is sufficient to fit a big Easter cake and painted Easter eggs round it. It is too early for Easter yet, so you can see only the models of future painted eggs so far. So, the round tray has been woven. It doesn't really matter which type of a bottom to weave, as we are going to put an Easter cake inside, consequently the bottom will be covered with a napkin. That's why you can weave a round bottom in the simplest possible way. So, what to pay attention to? The weaving has to be very tight. The intervals between the poles at the tray edge have to be short. I've lengthened the poles twice by adding tubes of the base. I've added tubes in different ways. It doesn't really matter whether you're going to join tubes and then lead them through or whatever method. There are plenty of different ways to lengthen tubes, so let's miss discussion of this topic in detail. After the circle has been woven, we pass on to the second stage, second floor of the tree. Just the same thing. I insert poles using a well-known technique, making such loops. I join them to each pole, hugging each pole with a loop from both sides. As a result, I get such double poles. I weave a few rows of double poles. I bend the poles toward outside of the tray while weaving. I weave in a standard rope-like technique. I weave 3 or 4 rows hugging double tubes, after which they are going to be divided. The peculiarity of this stage is pressing the tubes quite strong in order to avoid any teeth at the transition line. That's why I'm pressing the first row very tightly. At the same time I start shaping the curve. When you weave vertically, you weave round a special base form. In this case you don't need any base, as you bend the poles on purpose. This way you weave the second layer of the tree. This way I weave 3 rows on double poles, after which I separate them carefully. So I have woven 13 rows, just like in the lower level. Now I'm trimming the edge. In this particular case, the edge has to be trimmed anyway. Otherwise, while subject to deformation, the upper rows are likely to slide apart. I'm trimming the edge in the simplest possible way. It doesn't have to draw any attention, so I'm making it as flat as possible. But anyway, you have to fix the poles to prevent them from sliding out while deformed. finishing edge trimming according to the pattern. I still have to place the last pole according to the pattern. I insert it right here in this loop. Smoothen, and that's all. I don't cut the tail so far. Now I'm going to start priming and forming the tray to reach the required shape. Then the procedure you're familiar with follows. If you just sprinkle the item without thorough moistening, you won't be able to rumple and shape it the way you need. You'd better wait a while till it gets dry, because it takes time to. However, as a result, your material becomes as flexible as clay. The next stage is priming the item with glue before rumpling, because you need to fix everything very well. I spread glue thoroughly from every side, especially along the edge, in order to fix the tails I'm going to cut later. After that, I'm trying to distribute the space for Easter eggs. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6. Approximately like that. Actually, you can calculate the required space and measure the intervals with the help of a ruler. I personally distribute the space approximately and start shaping the tray. The material is very flexible and easy to shape. I'm going to cut the tails later, after they get fastened with glue. So, I've shaped the upper part. Here is supposed to be space for Easter eggs. So, I'm not just bending it, but curving it with my fingers in order to provide a reliable seat for an egg. I'd like to emphasize that I've made deep lengthening here and fixed the joints with glue, especially in the upper part, because I rumple the item thoroughly and I like to avoid tube breaking. As an option, you can shape the lower part of the tray wave-like too, in the opposite direction, in order to provide a distinct seat for every egg. In the same way. I haven't united the parts. A slight wave is quite sufficient. The upper wave is rather stormy, while the lower wave is very light, just to prevent eggs from sliding away. The material is flexible enough and easy to twist. Now let it take time to dry. You leave it for drying longer than usual. The weather is rather humid. In summer it would probably take shorter. Something like this. Well, actually you could also make a handle for the tree. But since the tray is meant only for Easter, it would be inconvenient to keep it with a handle. So I don't make any handle out of practical reasons. Well, though actually you can use it not only as an Easter tree, but as a fruit tray as well. For example, you can put grapes in the center and plums along the edge and treat your visitors too. But anyway, the main purpose is Easter. The central space is meant for an Easter cake, and the edge is meant for Easter eggs. Happy coming Easter to all of you! I wish you strong health, good luck and well-being. All the best to you!